The mystery that won't let go. Imagine standing on the Giza plateau, with the Great Pyramid of Khufu towering over you. It's nearly 150 meters, about 490 feet, tall, like a modern 50-story skyscraper. It's made of more than 2 million stone blocks, each weighing an average of 2.5 tons. Some of the blocks, like those in the King's Chamber, weigh a staggering 80 tons. And all of this was built without the use of the wheel, steel tools, or modern machinery. Just try to picture it. 4,500 years ago, a group of people, using only their hands, copper tools, and pure genius, created a wonder of the world that has stood for millennia. It's no surprise that many people still can't wrap their minds around it. Such a structure seems impossible. And that impossible feeling has given rise to countless theories, from the most scientific to the most fantastical. In this video, we'll explore what scholars actually think, and how recent discoveries have brought us closer to solving this ancient mystery. Debunking the most popular myths. Before we dive into the scientific theories, let's get the most popular myths out of the way. You've probably heard that the pyramids were built by aliens. It's a beautiful idea, but there is absolutely no evidence for it. Archaeologists have found no proof of advanced technology or extraterrestrial contact in ancient Egypt. Everything we know points to this being a feat of human ingenuity. Another common myth is that the pyramids were built by slaves. This idea was popularized by ancient Greek historians, but modern excavations and research have proven it wrong. Archaeologists have discovered entire villages next to the pyramids, complete with living quarters, bakeries, medical clinics, and even breweries. It turns out the builders were free, skilled laborers who were paid in food and other goods. They were respected members of society who worked for the good of their pharaoh. This was a massive, well-organized project, comparable to a modern-day major construction site. So, we know the pyramids were built by the Egyptians, and they were not slaves. But how did they do it? That's where it gets interesting. The battle of the ramp theories. The biggest challenge in building a pyramid was getting the enormous blocks to the top. How did the ancient Egyptians do it? For a long time, most scholars agreed that they used ramps, inclined earth mounds used to haul the blocks up. But this approach led to a lot of debate because there were several different versions. The straight ramp theory. This theory seems the most straightforward. It suggests that the Egyptians built one massive ramp that started at ground level and went all the way to the top of the pyramid. Thousands of workers would then pull the blocks up this ramp. Simple, right? But this theory has a huge problem. To rise to a height of 146 meters with a gentle slope that would allow for pulling heavy blocks, around 10%, the ramp would have to be nearly 1.5 kilometers, about a mile, long. Building such a giant ramp would have required far more material than the pyramid itself, and its removal after the construction was finished would have been a separate, colossal task. On top of that, it would have blocked access to the lower levels that were already built, making the work incredibly inefficient. The spiral ramp theory. This theory was proposed as a solution to the straight ramp problem. It suggests that the ramp wasn't a single, long structure, but one that wrapped around the pyramid in a spiral, gradually climbing higher. This would have made the ramp shorter and required less material. It's a more plausible approach, but it also has its flaws. The main issue is that as the ramp went around the corners, the workers pulling the blocks would not have been able to see the top of the pyramid. This would have made it incredibly difficult to maintain the precise shape and perfectly straight sides, which are a hallmark of the Great Pyramid of Khufu. Scholars believe it would have been impossible to ensure the accuracy of the angles if they were constantly out of view. The internal ramp theory, the newest and most intriguing. This theory is a real breakthrough. It was proposed by French architect Jean-Pierre Houdin. He suggested that the Egyptians used a combination of external and internal ramps. First, they built a straight external ramp, but only up to about 45 meters, 150 feet. This was enough to get the majority of the blocks up, those that make up the base of the pyramid. After that, the external ramp was dismantled, and an internal spiral ramp was used to lift the remaining blocks. This ramp was located inside the pyramid itself, just under its outer casing. It spiraled its way up to the top. The corners of the pyramid were left open so that the workers could constantly monitor their accuracy and adjust the placement of the stones. How did they get the blocks around the corners? Houdin suggested there were small turning platforms at each corner where workers could pivot the blocks using levers. And here's where we get to the new evidence. Using modern scanning technology, researchers recently discovered an unusual void inside the Great Pyramid. While its purpose is still being studied, many believe it could be part of this internal ramp system. And in a different pyramid, Khufu's, in the Hatnub quarry, an ancient ramp system was found that perfectly matches Houdin's assumptions. It is indirect but very strong evidence that the Egyptians had this technology. How it was actually done, the complete picture. By combining all of this information, we can put together the most complete and modern picture of the Great Pyramid's construction. It wasn't one single method, but rather multiple systems working together. Preparation and transport. The whole story begins in the quarries. The ancient Egyptians would carve out the blocks of limestone using copper chisels, wooden wedges, and stone mallets. How did they get the wedges to work? They would hammer them into cracks in the rock and then soak them with water. The wood would expand, creating enough pressure to split off a huge chunk of stone. The biggest mystery was always how they transported millions of tons of stone to the Giza plateau. Recent discoveries, especially the finding of ancient papyri belonging to a foreman named Mirror, have given us the answer. These documents, found in the Wadi al-Jarf port, describe in detail how limestone blocks were transported from the quarries of Tura, on the other side of the Nile, by water. The Egyptians built a vast system of artificial canals that connected the quarry to a harbor right at the foot of the Giza plateau. The blocks were loaded onto special boats and floated down these canals, lifting the blocks. Once the blocks arrived at the construction site, they were offloaded and pulled on sledges. Archaeological research has shown that they would wet the roads with water or even oil to reduce friction and make it easier to pull the sledges. Finally, we get to the building itself. The base of the pyramid was erected using a straight external ramp. This was the easiest way to lift the first few million blocks. Once the pyramid reached a certain height, the external ramp was no longer needed. The internal ramp then took over, allowing workers to lift the blocks to the top, neatly placing them row by row without obstructing the view of the corners or wasting resources on building external mounds. The finishing touches. When the pyramid was almost complete, a pyramid ion, the capstone, often plated with gold, was placed on top to reflect the sun's rays. After that, Workers began their descent, polishing the blocks and fitting the smooth outer casing stones that were brought from across the Nile. This work was done from top to bottom to avoid damaging the polished lower levels. Conclusion. So, the construction of the Great Pyramid was neither magic nor the work of aliens. It was a stunning, meticulously planned project that showcases the incredible engineering and organizational skills of the ancient Egyptians. They used not one, but a combination of technologies: water transport, internal and external ramps, and the power of their own hands and minds. While not every detail is known, every year archaeologists find new evidence that helps us piece together this grand puzzle. It's a story of how human ingenuity, perseverance, and resourcefulness can create something that still inspires us 4,500 years later. Which of these theories do you find the most logical and fascinating?